Hello and welcome to AP World History. My name is Mr. Chasse-Fernald, and I just want to go over the summer assignment expectations with you and hopefully clarify any questions you might have before you even have them. So what you can see right now is when you log into the Google Classroom class page for us, right, this is what you will see. And let me just jump over to the classwork, and you'll see the summer assignment, and then you can go ahead and click on View Assignment. All right, and then this will bring you to a page that looks like this. So there's three things that you are being asked to do or to look at for your summer assignment. 1 and 2 are hopefully just review and relatively easy. And then number 3 is an activity. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on this. This is that summer assignment 2021 Google Slides, and it'll pull up this. All right. So I'm just going to go ahead and go through this with you. So this is your summer assignment. The first thing you're being asked to do is to simply make sure you're familiar with some of the verbiage and things that we're going to be doing in this class. So what we call the historical reasoning skills, right? And these are things that we're going to be working on all year. They will be how we frame all of your essays. Whether you're talking about your long essay questions or your document-based essay questions. It's also how I frame most of the class lectures. So this is one of those things where almost every day we will be applying these skills. All right, so these are the fundamental skills of our course. So just want to make sure you know what they mean, right, and how they're applied. So the 3 essential skills are comparison, causation, and what we call CCOT, which is continuity and change over time. And there's 2 sides to each skill. So in your writing, if you are using the skill of comparison in your writing, then you would be doing a full body paragraph on similarities. So you focus on one side of a skill at a time. So simply make sure you know what the skills are and know what the definitions are. So for comparison, it's similarities, and the other side of that skill is differences. For causation, the skill of causation, it's causes and effects. And for CCOT, it's continuity. And the other side of that skill is continuity over time. And the other side of the skill is change over time. So know what each word means, right? And what each side of those skills mean as well. And be able to identify an example of it when you see it. And I'll show you what I mean by that in just a minute. All right. The second thing is the maps, and I'm going to show you the maps, and I'm going to go over that. So know the different regions of the world. And once again, this should be nothing too difficult. And then know where the cities, and I'm going to give you a list of cities, know where they are and be able to locate them on a map. So this 1 and 2, the historical reasoning skills and the maps, this is what you're going to be tested on the second day back to school, right, when you return. So make sure you are familiar with this. The third thing you're going to be asked to do is I'm asking you to use some evidence to draw some conclusions and then support your conclusions with evidence provided. So we're looking at the question of, are there man bats on the moon? And I have some documents for you. All right. So when it comes to number 3, this understanding the nature of evidence, you're going to be graded in. You're going to submit that in Google Classroom. I'm going to show you how to do that in a second. And I'm going to grade it on a 0 to 3 scale, right, in Google Classroom. So 0 is no attempt, or it's copied from your peers, or when I cut and paste it and drop it into Google, I see that it's plagiarized off the interweb. So not your own work kind of thing. All right. If you get a 1, that means it was attempted by the time it was due, which is the morning of the first day of school. If you don't successfully create a thesis, or you don't successfully use evidence. All right. If you get a 2, that means you have a, I can see a successful thesis or, a successful thesis, and I can see that you have applied and attempted to apply or attempted to apply evidence. All right. So for me, a 2 is, what you should be striving for at least. All right. And then 3 is successful thesis, and 2 different pieces of evidence have been applied to support that thesis. All right. So, and I'll explain that a little bit more depth in a minute. All right. All right. So regarding historical reasoning skills, once again, these are the skills. And a sample question, what might be on your summer test when you get back to school, is something to the effect of what historical reasoning process is being referenced in the following statement. The Protestant Reformation, 1517, was similar to the earlier Great Schism, as both resulted in a split within Christianity. All right, so, and then you'll be given an option there, and you'll have to simply choose. So, okay, that's what I'm referencing. Now, all the questions will not include, a dead giveaway, right? So, but be able to recognize these skills being applied when you see them, and be able to properly match them up to the other one. All right. The maps. So this is the map provided to us from the College Board. These are the officially kind of designated regions of the world. So you will see these regions on exam questions, and so you have to be familiar with them and what they mean. So if you're being asked a question about East Asia, you're not writing an essay about India, right? You want to make sure you know what countries are where, and what the specific part of the world is being referenced when you do this. But I'm not asking you to break down all the countries of the world, right? Well, we will do that throughout the year, right? And identify, like when we're talking about, when we are talking about Cahokia, we will be talking about where it is, and we'll be reinforcing that kind of stuff, right? And same with places like Mali. If we're talking about Mali, we will be referencing that it's in West Africa throughout the entire day. But I want to make sure these different regions, and really it's just the continents of the world being broken down into cardinal directions, really. So it shouldn't be too challenging. So on the summer test, you'll see something like this, and you'll just be able to place them right where they are. The numbers will probably be different. So don't try to memorize the numbers, memorize the locations. All right. And I'm also going to ask you to know where these cities are located. All right. So for the first, a couple months of our course, we'll be referencing a number of cities, and it is helpful if you know where they are when we are referencing, so that when you see Tenochtitlan, you know exactly where that is, right? That is in central Mexico. That's Latin America. So Tenochtitlan, Cahokia, Timbuktu, Venice, Mombasa, Baghdad, Calcutta, Malacca, and Hangzhou, or Hangzhou, technically, right? And for period 2, right, New York City, London, St. Petersburg, Istanbul, Isfahan, Delhi, Beijing, Edo, and Jakarta. So I'll ask you what region, Isfahan is in, right? So make sure you know the correct answer. All right, so here's a map just showing you, and this is from the Freemanpedia website, and I pull a lot of maps and resources off from that website, so it's a good website to be aware of. So this is just a map showing you where these cities are, okay? And here's an additional map showing the period 2, or 1450 to 1750 cities, right? So this way you can study where they are. I also did provide a little bit of an answer key here for you, just to kind of help you out using this map. Once again, the numbers will change on the test, so don't memorize the numbers, memorize the locations. All right. So Tenochtitlan, right here in central Mexico. So that's number 3. All right, that's where modern day Mexico City is. So if there's anything for the summer test that you might actually need to study, there's probably a half a dozen cities on here that you might need to learn, or you might need to spend a little bit of time on. All right, so Edo is Tokyo, right, today. Right, so that's going to be East Asia, right? That's going to be number 12. So this is the answer key. There's I don't know if it's just one or not, but there's Istanbul, for example. It could be 9 or 10 because it literally straddles straddles both continents. So on the test, I wouldn't put both of those as answer options, right? So just kind of be aware of that. Istanbul is historic Constantinople, so Istanbul was Constantinople. Right. So a sample question of what it might look like is, what world region is number 6? So be able to identify that, right, as Central Africa, right? Or another question, and you'll have an A, B, C, or D with different numbers, right? Or A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Who knows how many options I'll give you, right? Maybe I'll give you 15 options, 16 options. Right. So what region of the world is Cahokia located in? Right. So Cahokia, when you're looking at, this is going to be, if you don't know where Cahokia is, it's about 10 miles outside of modern day St. Louis, Missouri. So Cahokia is number 1. All right. So in 16 is Siberia, by the way. Siberia is that enough? That was located on that map or not earlier on? I did put it right there. So Siberia. All right. So that's the map, and that's really what your summer assignment test is going to be. All right, that's your summer assignment test, and then the other part is, are there mandats on the moon? All right, so let's have a look at this. So when you click into this document here, this is the Google Doc that you can answer your questions on. So please type your name in here, and just type your response into here. So obviously, when you type your response in, it's gonna move the entire thing, and that's fine. Right? I just want to be able to kind of jump right into this document as I read them and minimize my own scrolling. All right, so what is the assignment? All right, in this assignment, all you need to do is answer the following questions in really 1 to 2 paragraphs. I'm not looking for an essay here. I'm just looking for a pretty simple response. And the question is, are there mandats on the moon? Right. So to answer this question, consult the following images and excerpts to support your answer, and I have them below. So I'm going to scroll down in a second and show you those. Your answer should include, there should be a clear thesis. So the first sentence I read should be a clear answer to the question. I don't literally need yes or no, right? I should see but it should be clear in that sentence where you are sitting on this. So you need to create a category of analysis that makes it clear. So what is a category of analysis? It's an argument or a line of reasoning that when it is stated, it is not taken as fact, right? So really a thesis is something that has to be defended. There almost has to be the possibility of an argument against a thesis statement, right, in order for it to really be a thesis statement. So there should be a nice, clear response to this question in that category of analysis, right? And you are welcome to use apply one of the skills in that sentence. All right. So so comparison, causation, CCOT. All right. So, but a nice argument or line of reasoning should be apparent, and that should be the first sentence I read. All right. So after that first sentence, the rest of paragraph 1. Right. So, after that first sentence in paragraph 1, right. So you're going to begin with that thesis sentence, and then you're going to include a sentence or an excerpt. Right. Really 5 words out of an excerpt, or if you're using the image, you need to describe what is in that image. So every time you use evidence from a source, so that should be a sentence, by the way. Your 3 to 5 words out of an excerpt, or your description of what is in that image that you're using to support your thesis, that should be a sentence by itself. right? And then once you've done that, right, you've got your thesis, and then you are presenting your evidence in that second sentence. And then the next couple of sentences, you're just explaining it, right? So you're explaining why that 3 to 5 word or so excerpt from the passage, or why that description from the image, why that supports your thesis. All right. So, and really, this is where you earn points, right? So you earn points in your thesis, for coming up with a category of analysis, and you earn points by coming up with, or by explaining why the evidence you selected supports that claim. All right. So the actual evidence itself, while it does have to support what you say, that's not where you really earn the points, right? You earn it in the explanation. Your own words is what matters the most, right? How you explain things. So explain why the evidence led you to say that yes or no kind of category of analysis. For example, if you said no, right? What about the evidence seemed suspect? If you said yes, right? If your category of analysis is pushing us towards yes, what about the evidence seemed convincing? Right, so it's your explanation and the details that really matter. Right, so the second paragraph, right? So if you're really shooting for that kind of 3, right, on this assignment, try to do it use the same thesis, use that same category of analysis if you want, or you can come up with a different category of analysis. You can contradict yourself. If you want, right? If you want to have a contradicting category of analysis, you're welcome to do that, or you're welcome to use the original category of analysis or thesis, and extract a second piece of evidence, right? And then do that explanation. All right. So that's what you're being asked to do, right? So 1 paragraph, 2 if you're shooting for that, for that 3. Okay, and right, and then we kind of get down. This is the actual assignment. You do not need any additional information on this. This requires no research on your part. I would highly encourage you to not go onto the internet to look for this. Your life will be easier, and you're going to guarantee yourself that you will not get a 0 for copying stuff off the internet. All right, so if you want to kind of position yourself to get a 2 or a 3 on this assignment, then stay off the internet and just do this based on the information you are provided. Okay, so I'll just leave it at that. All right, so here's some historical background. All right, so yes, this is a real question. So in 1835, an incredible story broke in the Sun newspaper in New York City, which reported that a famed astronomer, right, Sir John Herschel, had made great astronomical discoveries while cataloging and mapping nebula in the night sky at the Cape of Good Hope in South Africa. Herschel trained his reportedly hyper-powerful telescope on the moon. Right? And this is an age where major advancements in optics were being made in Europe, especially, in Central Europe, especially. All right, so the public would have been well aware of that. All right, it was the public who would read these papers. Herschel went on to discover that the moon was, in fact, populated with an abundance of creatures, including intelligent man-bats who are capable of building great cathedrals, right, and engaging in deity worship. Right? So you have 3 different sources that you're presented with. All right, so here's one, here's a second one, and then here's a third one. So read through those. Formulate an answer to the question, are there man-bats on the moon? And, once you come up with your answer, and once you come up with a category of analysis, go back over the evidence and find excerpts, 3 to 5 words out of a passage, or describing things that you are seeing in this image. Find evidence that supports your position, and then go ahead and drop it in. Type it up, and when you're done, hit submit. Right. So that is the summer assignment. I'm gonna, if you do have questions, about the summer assignment, I'm gonna post a question link here. Just if you have questions, please put them in the comments. I'm a big believer that if one student has a question, then probably multiple students have a question. So I will drop all, I encourage you to put your questions, on that comment board. And I'll put it probably right under here. And if you don't feel comfortable throwing your name out there because everyone will see your name, if you post a question, then you are welcome to, just email me, right? So you can just email it to me, and then I will put it up as, student question, and I will post your question anonymously. But generally speaking, I do post all questions, right? So, all right, so that is it. So enjoy, and I'm sure that is perfectly manageable for you. And if you do have any questions at all, please feel free to ask. I'm pretty responsive over the summer. There will be a few days here and there when I am traveling this summer, where it may take me a couple of days to respond, but for the most part, I respond within 24 hours. All right. Well, enjoy, and let me know if you have any questions, and I look forward to meeting you all in August.